Atir, what can you tell our viewers? What's the latest from the police? Atir, do you hear me? Okay, just give us a moment to establish that now. There's clearly a lot of chaos where Atir is. We'll just try and go back to him. Veer Sanghvi, the one constant strain coming out from several people who are speaking on headlines today and sharing with us their reaction to this horrible and tragic news is that they don't believe Sunanda Tharoor could have committed suicide. Shashi, of course, was through the day busy with the AICC session. He had a full lineup of shows that he was supposed to be on, including Center Stage. He was supposed to be with us at 9:30 p.m. this evening. That is just when we received information that Sunanda Tharoor was dead. We're also finding out now that it is Shashi who, after the AICC session got over, went to the Leela Hotel at Chanakyapuri where Sunanda had checked in yesterday, and that's where her body was found. And this clearly is very, very deeply troubling news for the entire Tharoor and Pushkar family. Mr. Sanghvi.
Yes, it is. It is, Rahul. I think Shashi, I imagine, will be devastated because his life, I mean, contrary to what people say about his having had affairs or whatever, if you saw him with her, he was completely obsessed with her. If they were together, if they were sitting nearby, even when they were allegedly having problems, he was always touching her. He couldn't keep his hands off her. He was a man who was completely, his mind had almost been taken over by her. In fact, during that whole Lalit Modi episode, when people said to him that, "Are you sure you want to do this?" They hadn't got married at this stage. He was just, "This is the woman I love. This is the woman I love. I'm going to stick by the woman I love." I mean, I'm not sure how he's going to cope because it's really, really depressing news. And with the kind of speculation that's going on now, did he drive her to it? Was it because of his affair? Or even as the crazies are saying, was she eliminated? This is going to be a difficult time for him. I don't see any
Sanjoy Roy is the director of the Jaipur Lit Fest. He's in Jaipur. Shashi Tharoor was supposed to be joining him. He tweeted, in fact, his last tweet on Sunanda was that he had to stay back to take care of Sunanda's health. Sanjoy, can you tell our viewers about what Shashi told you? What sessions was he supposed to do? When did he inform you that he wouldn't be able to come because of Sunanda's health?
Earlier today, we got to hear that Shashi was going to be cancelling the sessions. He was in 2 sessions and a book release. And this is terrible and very, very unfortunate news. And our prayers are with him and, of course, with Sunanda. And it is a moment of privacy, and I think all of us need to respect that. And I do also feel that the media needs to also reflect in terms of what has happened and the reasons why it happened.
Sure, Sanjoy. That's a whole separate debate, which is a fair question, and I don't think that can be dismissed as an unfair question. But the reality also is it is Sunanda who put this story out on a very public platform. It isn't as if somebody went scooping for the story. It is Sunanda who put it out. But I don't want to get into that realm just now because that's an issue that can be tackled later. You knew Shashi very well in your capacity as the director of the Jaipur Literary Festival. You were also on the social circuit with him. Your memories of Sunanda and Shashi as a couple, and of Sunanda especially?
Well, Sunanda was an extremely vivacious, extremely intelligent lady, and as a couple, when they got together, they were wonderful. They were the toast of town for many, many years, and what has happened is a terrible tragedy. It's a terrible tragedy for everybody. Everybody who's known them, and everybody who's celebrated both of them. So this is really very sad news.
Okay, and what were the sessions that Shashi was supposed to be doing at the Jaipur Literary Festival? He'd been, in fact, a regular participant, and on several of those occasions, as was the case elsewhere, Sunanda Tharoor would have travelled with him to be a part of your Jamburi.
Yes, indeed. He was supposed to do 2 sessions and a book release tomorrow and day after. And unfortunately, that stands cancelled. He cancelled that earlier today.
Did Shashi tell you what the illness was and what was it that was keeping him away from Jaipur?
No, not at all. We didn't get an opportunity to speak. I think he did email William, and that's roughly when we came to know that he was not going to be able to make it.
Sanjoy Roy, for joining us with your thoughts, thank you very much. I want to take our viewers through all the responses that Sunanda put out on Twitter. These are in fact her last public communications, and let's just take it from the time that she was watching the repeat of Center Stage. We had Meher Tarar with us at 9:30 last evening. Jamal Sheikh, my colleague, and I'm hoping to be joined by him in just a moment, was also on that show. And after that, Sunanda started responding, but she watched the show. She tried to call me at 12:57 last night, and I of course was asleep by then. She put out several tweets, and I want to take you through what she says. So she writes in the first tweet, which is about 21 hours ago, Rahul Kamal saw your show and must tell you the Meher Tharoor has lied. I'm just reading what she's written. Has lied outright. I have all her emails and her BBMs to my husband. I don't lie. This is in response to Meher Tharoor telling us on our broadcast that she wasn't in a relationship with Shashi Tharoor, that she didn't have any SMSs or BBMs sent to him, which she wasn't willing to admit publicly. Sunanda rejects that. She says, I have all her emails and BBMs to my husband. Remember, she'd accused Meher Tharoor of stalking her husband. After that, she says, sadly, I'm too sick at this moment, but we'll talk about it one day, and it's disgusting for what Meher Tharoor has been doing. She told us that she had tuberculosis. I don't know whether that's true. That's what she said in a private conversation, which we wouldn't be speaking about, but she's committed suicide, so that then becomes a part of what's happening. She said she had tuberculosis. The doctors told her, she said that it was serious and that she wouldn't last for more than a year. I thought that she was very upset at the time, which is possibly why she was saying what she was. Then around 1 a.m. or past 1 a.m. last night, she says, and Meher Tharoor is tagged on that tweet, not just that I have her BBMs, Rahul Kamal, various other men in 2013. Also, she's a woman I am ashamed to call one. Shame. Then she goes on to say, Shashi Tharoor and want to tell Meher Tharoor, my husband Shashi Tharoor and I are very happy, so Meher isn't going to bother me with all her lies on TV, which amused me. Then she says, now this is about 4 a.m. in the morning. She says, guys, by the way, this is a personal affair. Why is it headlines news? All you have achieved is Meher telling lies and her 5 minutes of fame. I have all the BBM, she says. Then she also says, again at 4 a.m. She also says at 4 a.m. this morning, I totally agree and I want solidarity from my Indian friends to stop following her. There are good Pakistani and then there are people like her.